The year is 2020. People are at an all-time low in morale and are told to stay indoors in a global pandemic of epic proportion. And yet, like in most things, a silver lining arises. The gaming industry suddenly becomes far more important as no one has anything to do besides stay inside. Now, why am I even talking about that horrendous year? Simple. The first Ghostrunner game was released on October 27th of that year. Over 2.5 million units have been sold this game, not including the sales of the sequel. And yet, despite the obvious success and the user ratings being so high for both of them, people aren't happy with these games. Recently, the sequel was given out for free as part of Epic's gift giving program during December to celebrate the holidays, with daily free games. And the reaction I saw on their Instagram was surprisingly distasteful from people originally, despite others like myself being shocked by this behavior and a lot of people fighting back against it. I actually bought Ghostrunner 2 on Steam for a deal, so I'm, a bit mad myself because I lost like $6. Yeah, I could have just waited, but it was definitely an experience that I loved and I want to talk about. Especially having seen how people are treating it, not knowing how it actually is. So today I want to address this. What even is the Ghostrunner series about? Is it any good? And why are people mad at the Epic gift for it? The first thing that probably most people aren't happy about Ghostrunner is that it is unforgiving. Ghostrunner really makes you have a run for your money when it comes to your skill level, and the more you play, the better you're gonna get at it. But that first couple go-arounds, it's horrific. You can have runs in like just one level where you're getting up to 100 deaths if you're not good enough. Usually I range somewhere around the 60 zones per level, but sometimes I would get a lot lower or a lot higher just depending on how it was made. Now, one thing we can see actually is on Steam though, where dying for the first time gives you an achievement, and that has been unlocked by 95.4% of players. Does this mean that 4.6% of players decided to not die and just never died? Absolutely not. No, it means there's a good amount of players who probably launched the game, and then closed it, played something else, and then just haven't gone back to it yet. That would be my guess. But if we go from the 95.4% of players who died for the first time, which obviously will have happened on the first level, we can then look at the second achievement, which, since that is for the second level in the game, has you fight a boss who is really difficult. Only 72% of players have gotten that achievement. That means that between just getting past the second level, around 23.4% of people just gave up. Mind you, this is the first and second levels of Ghostrunner 2. 23.4% of people gave up by the second level. By the very end of the game, for defeating Mitra the Resurrected, 24.9% of people have that achievement. There is a massive drop-off of players, and that is just due to the difficulty curve of the game. Ghostrunner 2 has a ton of amazing little segments in it, which I absolutely loved while playing it. And, some of those levels, if I had done it hitless, would have felt like the Transformers ride at Universal. Like, that's what one of them felt like. That one that was Naga the Sandworm. Basically, the bad guys have created a absolutely massive robot sandworm that essentially ambushes you. And as you're riding on a motorcycle going 200 kilometers an hour, I couldn't tell you what that is in miles per hour off the top of my head because I can't translate that over. You are racing away from this giant monster as it's coming out of the ground around you and cutting off routes and stuff. At one point, it gets up right behind you, and you can literally see, the edge of the thing as you're driving. You can feel the fact that it is right there behind you. Like the gears are turning in its mouth right behind where you are. And then the way you kill it is you actually have to go inside of it, and you have to dodge a ton of these like gears and saws and just all of this kind of stuff as you're going through the inside of this massive beast. And the thing is too, is that killing this thing is massive lore-wise. Because later in the game, another really cool character who is called Rahu the Avatar. Rahu is, oh my god, his segment's so cool looking. Because he's this massive thing. Because there's a thing called Cyber Void. And how Cyber Void works is it's pretty much just like, it's where if you are a Ghostrunner, like the main guy is, which means you're pretty much either fully a robot or like partly robot, you can get into this like special kind of part of the internet almost. And essentially what happens is this guy has full control of this area, and he looks like he's some form of like god, dude. He has like 4 arms coming out of him, like a pair of wings. He's like, the whole segment too is he's not even directly attacking you. He's like summoning in stuff to attack you with. As you're like, literally you have to climb up him. Essentially though, Rahu traps you into like, because time works differently in the Cyber Void, he traps you for 3 weeks. And as they're trying to attack the main area where you're from and all your friends are, since you killed that sandworm, they haven't managed to get through until just now. If you hadn't killed that sandworm, everybody would have been dead by the time that had happened. By the time those 3 weeks had passed, everybody you knew would have been dead if it hadn't been for that moment. So it just makes it so much more important. Alright, since I've already confused you about some terms like Cyber Void, I'm just going to explain out the lore a bit here. So basically, the Ghostrunners, as I said, they're kind of like robots. They basically were made as to be these peacekeepers for a place called Dharma Tower, which is, since the entire world got affected by a apocalypse level event, Dharma Tower is the only place where humans are still alive. Everywhere else, they are either dead or mutated. And Ghostrunner 2 is actually the first time you get to actually exit the tower and see this for yourself. Essentially, though, the person who made the tower is called the Architect. And what the Architect is basically, he was a real person who essentially was so rich and powerful pre-apocalypse that he built this massive tower knowing it was coming. So he builds this massive tower with all of his money, and essentially, it literally works as a, like, there's so many, like, deeper meanings to Ghostrunner. Like, the tower literally is a social class thing, where the people who are making the tower work and run are at the very bottom of the tower, where there's more, like, radiation and stuff. And then the more, like, the rich and stuff are at the top of the tower. But essentially, what happens is there's a bunch of, like, crime going on in the city, hence the need for the Ghostrunners. But the person who was with the Architect previously, called Mara, or the Keymaster, essentially what Mara did is there was 100 Ghostrunners, and they were all told to go and attack her because she turned on the Architect. She killed every single Ghostrunner besides you. Everybody is either deactivated or a older model. All of the Ghostrunners that were the same model as you were either hit with a kill switch or killed directly by her. So you were pretty much the last of your kind until Ghostrunner 2 came out and essentially retconned a bit of it and said there was like an original group, and the guys who you fight, there's 4 people you fight, they are like the original prototype models, and they did not get kill switched. So they are like the main antagonists because they want to kill the humans, essentially. They want to finish the job now because of like what they did to them. because it is pretty horrific. Like, essentially the whole game, though, is very, like, cyberpunk-esque, and a lot of, like, the whole thing is pretty much, like, fighting crime and social injustice, but you're literally this, like, mass murder robot as you do it. So it's honestly a really great concept, and you can tell there's a lot of lore building they put into it. Like, I'm barely explaining it. If you want to learn more about this, I greatly either recommend playing the games, as right now they're on a pretty substantial deal, or like watching some there's probably like a 2-hour, like hour 30-minute documentary on YouTube about this, and I would greatly recommend checking that out if this sounds interesting to you. But yeah, like, the game is very, very good, and the lore building they put into it and all of the set details and stuff, it's absolutely amazing. So yeah, I cannot recommend it enough. Now, going back to the thing that made me actually make this video, why are people so mad over getting this game, which is absolutely amazing, for free? Well, to put it blatantly, people really aren't appreciating what Epic is doing. So essentially, Epic has been giving out these games, and well, I will admit and agree that some of these games I have never heard of before and don't seem good. That is kind of the point. It's to get you to play games that aren't being played by general people and to bring some more attention to them. Like, everybody who's currently on there right now being like, oh, I want to get GTA for free. Oh, I want Red Dead for free. That's not the point. They might do that. That's very possible, but the point is to bring attention to some lesser-known games. Last year, too, people already had received Ghostrunner 1 from Epic Games. They gave out Ghostrunner 1, and the thing about that is that some people are also confusing it. So, there's a group of people who are like, oh, I don't want to get these games that I don't know about. I want to get these major AAA titles. And then there's another group which is saying, we already got this game, when in fact they got Ghostrunner 1, not Ghostrunner 2. And there's a group of people who are just both. It's just both, and they are extra angry. And it's honestly just, it's kind of like shocking when you think about it, and when you have these people who are receiving free games from this massive corporation, which really doesn't have to do this for us, and really, like, this is probably hurting the bottom line in some way, like, I would assume. And here they are doing this, and then they're all being jerks. Like, you know, like, I have my fair issue with the big corporations and, like, bureaucracy and stuff, but, like, the Epic Games is doing right here. Were they doing right, like, always? Probably not, no. Like, I know they've been fighting Apple over stuff previously, but, like, honestly, you gotta appreciate the small wins. That's what I'm saying here. Like, if you decide to pick up Ghostrunner 2 when it was free, please play it and give it a shot. And even when these Epic Games things are still going on, can we just all appreciate the fact that they're doing this and actually play and experience the games and judge them based on if they're actually good and not that, you know, they're not GTA or Red Dead? Because I think if you go into a game having that viewpoint, it's going to ruin the experience of the game. If you go into a game just hoping for a decent experience, that is when you get a better experience from the game. I've been Galaxy Nova. Thanks for listening to my little rant here. I really hope you can take these words to heart if you're one of the people listening to this, which it could be a very small amount of people judging my videos. This might get close to like 100 views. Maybe I would love it if you could share this out there and get more people to kind of hear this. Like, let people actually go and experience these games that you usually wouldn't give a chance. And I'll see you in the next one.